Well, hello there, this is Tamil, and let's draw a perfect face. First, we start with a circle. Wow. Secondly, we want to add a little bit of charm to their face. And finally, we just add a little bit of details. And just like that, we have a perfect face. Alright, all jokes aside, I know what you came here for. You came here for a lousy YouTuber to tell you how to draw faces. And I will give you exactly that. We're gonna go over a little bit Loomis Head, a little bit paper face, and different methods that are going to help you to get started with drawing faces in different angles. And at the end of the video, we're gonna make some real Ugga Bunga art stuff, basic drawings, using real photos, real references, so that you don't just like learn the theory and you don't know what to do with it. So hopefully it will be helpful to you. Let's get into it. Alright, the first method that I want to teach you is a triangle method. I love triangles and it's really fun to do triangle method, because it's the best shape of all time and it's easy to draw triangles, and then you draw an eye and that's it. That's you done. Now, so let's do a very simple triangle. So if we go forward and go like this, so somewhere here are going to be eyes, and then in here our nose starts, and somewhere here this is going to be our nosy nose. Our noses are three-dimensional, right? So we're gonna do a little bloop, and this is gonna be our nose. And at the very end, we can just add a simple mouth. So here is gonna be our mouth, and it depends like what kind of character you're gonna have, what kind of mouth they're gonna have. But this is the general idea behind a triangle. So if you just do this, and then you connect it to the chin, and there you go. We're gonna have our cute little character. And obviously our proportions are not like perfect, but it's a really great start if you want to start doing something very simple. So let's just squish it down just a bit. And then we're gonna do a little bit of a forehead. And obviously the ears, they're gonna start where the eyes, and somewhere with the nose. And so somewhere here, it's gonna be our ears. And the neck will be somewhere where the jaw is, right? So if we connect here, here, and just like this, I don't even have a reference open. I don't have anything open. I already did a very cute little simple sketch. And this is probably one of my favorite methods to use. And the best part is this method also works in perspective. I'm gonna do a very simple one more drawing, and then we're gonna get to another method. So this is gonna be our triangle. This is gonna be our middle for our face. So somewhere here. And then we do a little bit of a triangle, boom. Here is gonna be our nose. So we can do a very simple diamond for the nose. Simple diamond for the nose. All right. And then here we're gonna have our mouth for the eyes, and this is gonna be the eyebrows. And again, this is not to be perfect, but it's a great way to get just started, to just start sketching. In here, we're gonna get our cheekbone, right? In here. And then it goes, and if you don't make the sounds, then it's not gonna be a good drawing. So the cheekbone is already established over here, so that's why we're gonna just bam. And it gets better with time, with experience and practice. And we're gonna, again, we can use a triangle like this, boop, 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 to see where the neck is gonna be facing. And based on the eyes, it's the ear gonna start here, and then it's gonna end somewhere here. So I don't even need to have a reference open again, and we're gonna do a simple circle for the skull. And boom, we have our character done. I mean, I know this is not perfect, but just to get started, it's amazing. And the next super simple method is going to be paper. And what does that mean to use a paper for a drawing? Well, the triangle method is pretty great, but you have to keep in mind that faces, they're not like, they're not literally triangles that are very static. You have to remember that papers, just like faces, they bend and they're kind of like the cylinder. So let's see if we draw a cylinder, this is going to be kind of like our face because our eyes, they kind of, they do a little bit of this. And our mouth looks a little bit forward. So it looks terrifying, I know. But this is an exercise that will keep you thinking about this when you draw. So if you bend the paper, so let's say we bend it like this, and then we do like this. And we also gonna see a little bit of a back right here. So just like this, we already started bending the face a little bit and trying to figure out where our face is looking. So this one is gonna look this way, and different angles and different papers will allow you to start practicing your own way of getting the angles of faces that you like. So for example, this one is gonna be like that. And we can just shade the back, and this is going to be probably the middle, and it's facing this way. So now you have more practice trying to figure out where the face is looking and how does it bend in perspective. So in here you can definitely see that the eye is going to be a little bit more obscured by the paper, so it's not going to be perfectly visible. We can do the same thing just like we did with triangle. We can just add a little bit of a diamond, and in here we're going to find our mouth. And again, this is just a simplification that you can start using in order to get better with your faces. Like grab a reference, find a picture you like with different angles and try to do it in triangle method, and you do it in the paper method and see what works and what doesn't work. And after this, we can obviously start adding the skull shape. This is going to be the circle, and it's going to go in here, boop. And then let's say our jawline goes in here, boop. And just like this, we have ourselves a little character. Ba-dow. All right, enough of that. We can delete all this, make a new layer. Let's go into Loomis Head. And Loomis was a really chill dude. He did a whole theory on how to draw faces from any angle. And I really like his method, even though it doesn't really work out in all scenarios. So let's say we have a circle and we cut off this. Does not exist. And let's pretend the circle is looking at us. And we drawing a circle, another circle. So let's do a 3/4 view. And this is the cutoff part. Like this is the part that doesn't exist. And let's say our character is looking up. So we're gonna do a little bit of a line in here, and it's gonna go like this. So this is gonna be our face where it starts. So this is gonna be the side view, face, and we're gonna do a line in the middle to see where our face is landing. And this is gonna be the start of our jawline. So this is the jawline, and this is going to be where the ear resides. So we can do this just for the simplification purposes. And then this is going to be where our nose ends, right? And this is going to be where the eyes start, and in here is going to be the mouth. So you have this line, then you have this line, then you have this part. So it's kind of like boom, boom, boom. You divide it into 3 and it's already there. So this is going to be our face and cheekbones. And right here is going to be our mouth. So let's draw a little mouth. And then we do a little bit of a chin part. And this is our jawline. And in here, because this is the end of the skull, it's going to be our neck. So this is going to be the end of the neck. And this is gonna be like this. Very approximate, it doesn't have to be super perfect, and again, it's really good if you grab a reference, and just like that, we have ourselves a very simple face. So our nose is gonna end here, so we can do a very simple diamond again, and we know that this bottom part is gonna be in shadow, and then we're gonna do a little bit of eyebrows, ba-doom, and our eyes are gonna be in perspective, and it depends where what kind of style you're going for, what kind of eyes you want to draw, but there's gonna be a little bit of shadow. And just like this, we have a very simple face. What else can we add? Well, another thing to learn that is really good is like the edges. So the edges of our faces is going to be very important. What are the edges? Well, very simply put, if you draw a square, right? This is going to be one plane that is going to hit light and it's going to bounce off. And this is a very sharp edge. And there are different ways you can find edges, and it really depends on the model, blah blah blah, the person you're gonna use. But a very cool way to learn them is Asaro Head. I know I'm going a little bit fast with this, but it's okay. You can rewatch a video a little bit. You can write down notes. Asaro Head is a very cool sculpture that was created just specifically for learning the planes. And there's a guy whose name is William. He created a 3D model of Asaro Head that you can use, and I'm gonna drop that in the link below. You're gonna can find it. It's for free. It's on his portfolio, and this is gonna be the Asaro Head. And a lot of things are already made here for you. You don't even have to think about too much. You can see that there's big shadow here, there's big shadow here, and you can find a triangle, right, like this. And this is our nose, this is our diamond nose, so let's say like that. And this is our diamond nose, we can just boop 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 boop. And this is going to be our mouth, this is going to be our eyes. And based on this drawing, you can start studying what are the planes of the faces are and how to use them. Like if the light hits here, it's gonna hit over here, it's gonna hit over here. So you can download the images, you can study them and see how the face is gonna go. So this method is cool to start learning, this method is cool to start learning, but don't think that if you know this, that means that's the only way you have to draw it, because a lot of people have different proportions. Let's just go ahead and find a very simple photo that I will use to demonstrate what can you use for drawing portraits. This is going to be a very quick demo, and hopefully it's going to help out someone out there just for you, just to try out different ways of drawing. So this person is Rachel, I hope I spell it right, Bradley, and she has a bunch of references of herself, of different angles and different photos, and this is a free pack, so I'm gonna link that in the description. You don't have to pay for it, it's completely free to use for everyone and to practice and study. So let's break this picture down to see how can we learn from this exact picture. So I will grab a red, so we can see that this is our cheekbone, so this is our jawline, so it's gonna be kind of like this. And we can break this down into very simple shapes so that you don't have to think about this when you start drawing. So you can see that this line is always kind of straight. Your eyes, they can't move up and down. So this is going to be the middle, right? And in here you can see that we have a very simple diamond shape for our nose. Boom. You can see that we have created a very simple diamond shape. This part, shadow. This part, a little bit of a shadow. We can just do this. And in here we can see the mouth that starts here, ends here. That is aligning with our eyes, right? So this is gonna be the mouth. And the head shape, this is going to be the most important part. We can draw a circle. That is going to be our circle for the skull. And you can see that the neck goes here. And you can see the twist. So this is in 3D. Because of that, we can draw this. This is going to be our main shadow. And breaking this down just like one by one without too much trouble, too much, details. I know this is just for education purposes. And you can see the cheekbone from another side. You can see the shadow that is right here, like this big shadow, like this. You can bow, and you can go back to the Asaro Head to think about the way you do it. So I can see that if you flip this, you can see that this is going to be our cheekbone, and it goes all the way up here. And just like this, we found our cheekbone, and you can see that this part is not as prominent as this, but it still exists within that. You can see a little bit of a shadow in here. This is going to be the brightest part, so this is where the light is coming from. Because it's so bright, you can see that it's hitting it right from here. And we can see that this is a little bit of a shadow. And if you break down the face right here, we can find this part, and you can see the shadow. You see this? You see this square? This is the same square that is here. So you can just doop, doop, doop. This is the square, and these are gonna be the eyebrows, right? So the eye, line, ear, so it goes like here. This is the end. The end of the nose is when the end of the ear, and that's it. We practically have our basic kind of drawing that we can use to break down their anatomy. So you don't have to super sit down and like copy every single, this little bump, this little bump, this little bump, and then don't do that. That's not really, you can try, but I feel like I learn the best if I do the super basic breakdowns of the face like that. So let's see if I can do a very quick sketch of this so that I know that I can still draw sometimes when I want to. And that's about it. I'm really kind of happy with the sketch. I know that I can improve this a lot and, you know, add more things to it, but this is kind of where I would leave it off. And thank you for watching. And that's about it. This is my little sketch that I did that I feel like turned out pretty cute, and I like it a lot. Hopefully you learned something, and again, go from big shapes to small shapes. Try to find patterns. Try to think, how can you improve your drawing without, you know, going into the little details and, you know, the little wrinkles and like the little pores and like all those little things that don't really matter. What matters is the, you know, the general shape that is there. And as long as your art is something that you enjoy making, just keep making it. And thank you for watching, and have a happy painting. You are gonna be the death of me. Okay.